Handbook for Mankind. This reading aloud is to learn and practice English skill, reading skill, and to educate the Buddha's teachings via the Buddhasa Bhikkhu's book named Handbook for Mankind. Some words may be reading with unclear pronunciation based on my background. By the way, I try the best to read with the most right pronunciation on my accent. Let's get started. Handbook for Mankind, Buddhasa Bhikku. Buddha Dhamma Education Association Incorporation. The Handbook for Mankind. Contents. Foreword. About the translator. Looking at Buddhism. The true nature of things. 3 universal characteristics. Grasping and clinging. The threefold training. The thing we cling to. Insight by the nature method. Insight by organized training. The 7 purifications, etc. Emancipation from the world. Forward. In 1956, the Venerable Buddhasa Bhikku gave a series of lectures to a group of prospective judges, which were subsequently edited and arranged into what became the Handbook for Mankind. Since then, the success of this small book has been astounding. Well over 100,000 copies have been printed in time, and the book still enjoys widespread popularity more than 3 decades after the original talks. The reason for the handbook's endurance is clear, that the Venerable Buddhasa offers fresh insights into a timeless truth, Dhamma, in the direct and simple manner that characterizes all his teaching. The clarity of his insight brings the Dhamma to life, so that today a new generation of readers, not yet born at the time of this talk, can find meaning in these words. As a guide for newcomers to the Buddha Dhamma, the truth which the Buddha awakened to and subsequently taught. This book is an invaluable guide. In it are contained the essential teachings of Buddhism. The handbook is especially useful for those who approach the Buddha's teaching not as a subject for scholarly study, but as means to understand and ennoble their lives. The Handbook for Mankind was originally published in English by the Sublime Life Mission, but has long been out of print. With their permission, we have reprinted this book, making some connections where necessary, but leaving the text otherwise intact. Our thanks are due to Mr. Pan Jongprasad, who first put this book together in Thai, and to all the people whose effort has made possible the reprinting of this book. About the translator, wrote ชื่อเฉพาะอาจจะอ่านผิด wrote Bucknell first became seriously interested in Buddhism in the mid-1960s when during a visit to Thailand he was introduced to the techniques of insight meditation. After spending a year in various Thai meditation centers and monasteries, he took ordination as a bhikkhu monk under the guidance of Ajahn Panyananta of Wat Chonpatan Rangsarit. He soon became interested also in the teaching of Ajahn Buddhasa and recognizing their potential value to Westerners, began translating some of the Ajahns more important works into English. During these 4 years he spent in the Sangha, he translated altogether 6 works of varying length, usually in groups consultation with the Ajahn in order to ensure accuracy in the rendering of key concepts. Despite his return to lay life, he maintains a close interest, both scholarly and practical, in Ajahn Buddhasa's teachings, and has published several related articles in religious studies journals. He is currently a lecturer in the Department of Studies in Religion at the University of Queensland, Australia. Looking at Buddhism. 1. If we open any recent book on the origins of religion, we find that there is one point on which all authors are in agreement. they all agree in saying that religion arose in the world out of fear. Primitive forest dwelling man feared thunder and lightning, darkness and storms, and various things about him that he was unable to understand or control. His method of avoiding the danger he saw in this phenomena was to demonstrate either humility and submission or homage and benevolence, depending on which he felt was most appropriate. Later, as man's knowledge and understanding developed, this fear, the forces of nature changed into a fear of phenomena more difficult to apprehend. Religions based on reference to objects of fear such as natural phenomena, spirits, and celestial beings came to be looked down upon as unreasonable and ridiculous, and then man's fear became still more refined into a fear of suffering of the sort that cannot be alleviated by any material means. He came to fear the suffering inherent in birth, aging, pain, and death, the disappointment and hopelessness which arise out of desire, anger, and stupidity, which no amount of power or will can relieve. Long ago in India, a country well provided with thinkers and investigators, intelligent people, dispensed with all pain of homage to supernatural beings and started seeking, instead of means of conquering birth, aging, pain, and death, the means of eliminating greed, hatred, and delusion. Out of this search arose Buddhism, a higher religion based on sight, a means of conquering birth, aging, pain, and death, a method for destroying the mental defilements. Buddhism had its origins in fear of this last kind, just as do all religions based on intelligence. The Buddha discovered how to conquer absolutely what man fears. He discovered a practical method, now called Buddhism, for eliminating suffering. Buddhism means the teaching of the enlightened one. A Buddha is an enlightened individual, one who knows the truth about all things, one who knows just what is what, and so is capable of behaving appropriately with respect to all things. Buddhism is a religion based on intelligence, science, knowledge, whose purpose is the destruction of suffering and the sort of suffering, or paying of homage is sacred, sacred objects by means of performing rites and rituals. Making offering or playing is not Buddhism. The Buddha rejected of this as foolish, ridiculous, and unsound. He also rejected the celestial beings, then considered by certain groups to be the creators of things and deities. Deities support to dwell, one in each star in the sky. Thus we find that the Buddha made such statements as this: knowledge, skill, and ability are conducive to success and benefit, and are auspicious, auspicious omens, good in their own right, regardless of movements of the heavenly bodies. With the benefits gained from these qualities, one will completely outstrip those foolish people who just sit making their astrological calculations and if the water in rivers such as the Kongkhan, Ganges, just said that Ganges, not sure, could really wash away sins. Kongkhan, could really wash away sins and suffering. Then the turtles, crabs, fish, and shellfish living in those sacred okay, sacredศักดิ์สิทธิ์ใช่ไหมศักดิ์สิทธิ์หรือว่ามีเกี่ยวกับพวกศักดิ์สิทธิ์หรือว่าอะไรเนี่ยเรียกว่า sacred SARS ซึ่งอุทิศsacred ศักดิ์สิทธิ์ซึ่งอุทิศเป็นที่สักการะทางศาสนาsacred those sacred rivers ought by now to be freed of their sins and sufferings too, and if a man could eliminate suffering by making offerings, paying homage, and playing, there would be no one subject to suffering left in the world, because anyone at all can pay homage and pray. But since people are still subject to suffering, while in the very act of making obeisances, 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 obeisance, obeis, obeisance, 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 obeisance การมาจาก obey มาจาก obey ที่แปลว่าเคารพคำนับ obeisances นะ in the very act of making obeisances, paying homage and performing rites, right, ritual, right, อ่านตามนี้กัน This is clearly not the way to gain liberation. To obtain revelation, we first have to examine things closely in order to come to know and understand their true nature. Then we have to behave in a way appropriate to that true nature. This is the Buddhist teaching. This we must know and bear in mind. Buddhism has nothing to do with prostrating oneself or deferring to awesome things. It sets no store by rites and ceremonies such as making libations of holy water or any externals whatsoever, spirits and celestial beings included. On the contrary, it depends on reason and insight. Buddhism does not demand conjecture or supposition. It demands that we act in accordance with what our own insight reveals and not take anyone else for anything. If someone comes and tells us something, we must not believe him without question. We must listen to his statement and examine it. Then, if we find it reasonable, we may accept it provisionally. การออก accent straight นะจะไม่ได้ถนัดมากนะอ่านตามนี้เลย straight นะว่าไม่ได้เน้นเรียนตั้งแต่ต้นใช่ไหมการ straight ให้ถูกต้องจะยังไม่ถนัดนะ and set about trying to verify it for ourselves. Is this a key feature of Buddhism which distinguish it sharply from other world religions. Now, a religion is a many-sided thing seen from one angle. It has a stand appearance. Seen from another angle, it has angle. 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 It has another. Many people look at religion from the wrong angle. Mum. Mum. And Buddhism is no exception. Different individuals looking at Buddhism with different mental attitudes are bound to get different views of it, because each of us naturally has confidence in his own opinions. The truth for each of us coincides with our own particular understanding and point of view. Consequently, the truth is not quite the same thing for different people. They all penetrate questions to varying depths by varying methods and with varying degrees of intelligence. A person does not recognize as true, according to his own ideas of the truth, anything that lies beyond his own intelligence, knowledge, and understanding. And even though he may outwardly go along with other people's ideas as to what is the truth, he knows himself that it is not the truth as he himself sees it. Each person's conception of the truth may change and develop with the day-by-day increase in his degree of intelligence, knowledge, and understanding, until such time as he arrives at the ultimate truth. And each of us has different ways of examining and testing before believing. That's all for this time. I will be continue to reading aloud next time, maybe today. Again, for this reading aloud is to learn and practical English skill, reading skill, my reading skill, and to educate the Buddha's teachings via the Buddhasa Bhikku's book named Handbook For Mankind. Maybe somewhat may be reading with unclear pronunciation. By the way, I try the best to read with the most right pronunciation, but I'm not sure in straight. I try pronunciation first based on my correction, based on my accent. That's it for this morning.